Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. This video is going to walk you through the different types of problems that you are going to see on the Delta Math website. If you have not logged into the Delta Math website, make sure you go down below to Miss Jenkins' video that she posted and watch how you're to go on there, how you're supposed to log in and choose the right class. It also gives you the code you're going to need in order to join my classes. Okay, now I would highly recommend, just like I did yesterday, for you to take a few notes. Anything that you see that you might not remember how to do, pause the video, take notes on it. That way you don't have to go back to that type of problem or to the video and try to figure out where that problem is solved at. Throughout the week, because remember, we're solving equations all week, and this video is going to be the last video that I post for the remainder of the week. Okay, now just a reminder on the different types of the different steps that we're going to use to solve equations. I went through these yesterday. I'm going to walk through them real quickly today. Okay, step one is to distribute. Remember, distribute means multiply. Okay, step two is to combine like terms. Negative 4x plus 6x. First off, they have to have the same letter. Second off, you add or subtract the coefficients. That says negative 4 plus 6, which gives me 2x. Okay. Step 3, we saw this on all the problems yesterday where there are letters on both sides. If so, add or subtract the smaller letter. And then from there, you have a two-step equation. Add or subtract the number without the variable, then multiply and divide, or divide the number with the variable. Okay, now once again, pause the video, jot those steps down if you didn't yesterday, and then continue to play. Okay, now there are 8 different sections in the Delta Math that you're going to have to watch, that you're going to have to do. Please make yourself aware that when you're doing the problems on Delta Math, if it tells you that you only have to do one of the problems, only do it once. Do not do section 1, 24 problems. Okay, you have to only do the amount that I ask you to. Because then if you just continue to do the same section over and over again, you're not going to finish all the different sections. And there's 8 sections, okay? So, question number 1. Okay, some of these questions are easy. Others, it get more difficult, but I want to go through all of them just in case you forget. Draw your attention to the side that the variable's on. This is a one-step equation. You have to get rid of a plus 8, and the opposite of adding 8 is subtracting 8. On the left, it cancels out, and I drop down y equals, that reads negative 4 minus 8, which gives me negative 12. Okay? In example number 2, notice how I even have the dot there already. That is multiplication between that 11 and x. So the opposite of multiplying by 11 is going to be dividing both sides by 11. On the left, they cancel out, and I drop down x equals 22 divided by 11 is 2. Okay. Once again, number 3, sorry about that, is another one-step equation. So there's my line. Okay, my variable's on the left side, so I need to get rid of that division by negative 3. The opposite of dividing by negative 3 is going to be multiplying by negative 3. You cannot change that number to a positive. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so multiply both sides by negative 3. On the left, they cancel. I drop down my w equals. On the right, 10 times negative 3 is negative 30. Okay. Number 4, if you look at number 4, okay, I have a fraction, and that fraction is being multiplied by a variable. Even though it's a fraction, you have to identify what's happening between the number and the variable. That's multiplication. So the opposite of multiplying by 3 over 4 is going to be dividing by 3 over 4. Okay. On the left, the 3 over 4's cancel, and I drop down my x. On the right, when you type this into your calculator, you want to type in negative 8, the division bar, 3 ABC 4, and that gives you negative 32 over 3. Okay. On Delta Math, be careful. Okay. If you look at your answer in the improper fraction form and it allows you to simplify, which this does not allow you to simplify, make sure you do so or else it's going to mark it wrong. Okay. Now number 5, this is where we get a little bit more difficult. Not really, because it's a two-step equation, but still. Notice how my variable was on the left side. Okay, I want to add or subtract the number without the letter, so I'm going to subtract 22 on both sides. It cancels on the left, and I drop down a positive 11x equals 55 minus 22 is 33. Then I need to get rid of that multiplication by 11, so I'm going to divide both sides by 11, and I get that x equals 3. Okay. Question number 6 gets a little bit harder. Notice here how there's not the distributive property. You might think there are like terms because I see a 6x there and a 10x there, but those are not like terms since they're on opposite sides of the line. Okay. However, I do have letters on both sides. So that step says to add or subtract the smaller variable. Notice my smaller variable is the positive 6x, so I'm going to subtract 6x on both sides. It cancels on the left. I drop down negative 7 equals 4x plus 33. Okay, my variable now is on the right side, so I need to add or subtract the number without the letter, so I'm going to subtract 33 on both sides. It cancels on the right, and I drop down negative 40 equals 4x. And then lastly, I want to divide both sides by 4, okay, which then is x is equal to negative 10. All right. Last thing, nope, not last problem. We got 2 more. Number 7, if I follow my steps, the first thing that I want to look for is the distributive property. And notice here, I have a number in front of parentheses. So let's go ahead and distribute that in. 3 times 4y is 12y. 3 times 9 is a positive 27 equals 39. Now you want to add or subtract the number without the letter, so let's subtract 27 on both sides. On the left they cancel and I drop down a 12y equals. On the right we get 12. Last step is to divide both sides by 12. And I get that y equals 1. Okay. Now, last problem. This is what your last section looks like. There's a little bit more involved. However, you just follow the steps and it does make it much easier. So the first thing I want to look for is the distributive property. I have it right there. Notice how I didn't highlight the rest of the problem. That's because those are not in the parentheses. So let's go ahead and distribute. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 1 is a positive 2. Once you hit the end of the parentheses, go ahead and drop the rest down. So plus 3x minus 1 equals negative 3. Once you distribute, you look for like terms. I see a pair of x's that are on the same side of the line. So negative 2x plus 3x is 1x. I also see, oops, wrong one. I also see numbers that I can combine. So a positive 2 minus 1 is a positive 1. Drop down the equals, drop down the negative 3. There aren't letters on both sides, so I skip that step, and then I add or subtract the number without the letter. Drop down the 1x equals negative 4. And then I divide both sides by 1. And I get that x equals negative 4. Okay, now a few things. Number 1, if you didn't take notes, maybe go through and pick the problems that you didn't quite remember how to do. Pause the video, take those notes. That will help you all week. Okay. The second thing I want to make sure that you are aware of is I am going to take these problems for correctness. So if you're not taking your time in doing these, you will not get points for them. You don't get points for just submitting anything. Okay. I hope you all have a great day. And remember, the Delta Math assignment, even though it was assigned today on Tuesday, it is not fully needed to be done until tomorrow, Wednesday, by 11:59 p.m. All right, bye. Bye.